Hey there, everyone. This is Trent Grzegorczyk, the retirement planning coach, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to discuss DIY retirement planning and doing that with NewRetirement, which is pretty much the ultimate retirement planning tool available to consumers. And so I'm going to get into how to build a comprehensive plan, the outline of doing that, and how you can leverage NewRetirement along with a community to guide you through this process of building your retirement plan. So if you're new here, again, my name is Trent Grzegorczyk. I'm also known as the retirement planning coach, and I help DIY investors and pre-retirees who are looking to get a little bit more comprehensive planning help from a non-big box firm. And from somebody who is independent and a fiduciary and takes a education planning first approach. So that's who I help. And I do that through my advisory firm and also the Retirement Planning Club, which is a community built for the people that I just mentioned, DIY investors, pre-retirees over 50, looking for more comprehensive planning help. And within the Retirement Planning Club, which I'll cover a little bit more of that at the end of this video, there's a community discussion board where you can communicate and collaborate with members. You can take a DIY retirement planning course. You can reach out to me for some free financial coaching and guidance, and some of the other things that I'll mention towards the end of the video. So that's how I help and serve people. So the biggest questions that most people have when it comes to retirement planning, at least that I run into, are, when can I retire? Most of the time people have that figured out, but sometimes people are a little bit curious, especially when the markets are kind of going up and down and their portfolio's down. When can I retire? Will the market decline impact my retirement date? How much can I spend? What's sustainable? And where is that money going to come from in the most efficient way? Like as far as distributions from your various different accounts. Social Security timing. Also, like, how do I invest for retirement as opposed to investing for the accumulation stage? Now, it doesn't have to be totally drastically different, but it can be. Typically, people like to be more conservative or start to shift to more of a resilient sort of strategy. So we can cover a little bit about that on this video. And then also, how do I lower my lifetime taxes? How do I not overpay in taxes? Because obviously nobody wants to overpay and send bigger checks than needed to the good old Uncle Sam. So that's kind of the process that I'm going to cover today, and how you can actually get started to figuring out all of this, even on your own terms. And then I'm not saying like don't reach out to an advisor, but you can get started on your own terms and have more of a foundation and knowledge around retirement planning and the process and what it should include. And you'll just make better decisions if you kind of take that approach. Okay, so what I'll do first is actually share my screen, and let me pull up the Retirement Planning Club. Okay. Bear with me one second. Okay, so here is the Retirement Planning Club. I just mentioned a little bit about that, so I'm not going to dive into the specifics further. But what I'm going to do is just show you the outline of a retirement plan, retirement plan, and how you can take the same approach in building your retirement plan using something like NewRetirement. I would highly encourage you to use NewRetirement. Okay, so within the Retirement Planning Club, I have a course. It's a DIY retirement planning course, and it's a video course, so very, very in-depth and step-by-step, but not too. I try to not overcomplicate the process. I really want to keep people moving and not like falling asleep. So the process that I use, or that I teach within the Retirement Planning Club, within the DIY retirement planning course is the exact same process that I use as a financial advisor when I build plans for clients. Okay. So the framework of it is almost identical to the framework that I use when I build a plan for my clients and people that reach out to get a plan built by me and my team. So just a little bit of background on that. And so the first step, which a lot of people, I would say most people are like halfway there on this step, but there's definitely some people who aren't even that close. You need to get crystal clear on your retirement vision and really understand why, what is retirement to me, right? And really like write down what the vision is that you're trying to achieve. Because if you don't have that kind of like end game and what you're working towards and what it's going to look like, it can just, when you're planning for retirement, it could just feel like too many numbers and percents. So it's really important that you go through the process of understanding your retirement vision and really talking like with your spouse or partner, if you have one, about the lifestyle, where you're going to live, what you want your daily experiences to look like, what sort of travel experiences would you like to have. So really take the time of planning out your retirement vision and getting crystal clear on what that looks like for you. All right. The second piece is your investing mindset. So once you kind of get past the lifestyle vision for your retirement, then what you need to do is just really um, remind yourself why you're investing in the first place, right? Like there's a purpose behind investing. It's not just, you know, to try and earn the highest rate of return as possible. There is a purpose behind investing, and you have to be a successful investor. You have to have the right mindset, right? Because if you go into investing with a negative mindset, it's just really hardly ever going to work out, right? So there's a proper way of thinking when it comes to investing. So you need to go through an exercise of having a proper mindset. Then you need to set some smart goals. So when it comes to your financial goals and even non-financial goals, you should have a sheet. And if you go through the retirement planning course within the retirement planning club, there's a sheet that you can complete. So you really need to write down all of the different goals that you have, your short-term, your midterm, and your long-term goals. Also, like needs versus wants. It's really good to separate those goals as well. Cash flow, you should understand your cash flow like the back of your hand. You especially entering retirement, you need to know like how much is coming in, how much is what is the growth forecast of like the portfolio, and then how much is going out is kind of like the three main things to kind of think about. Like how much is coming in, how much is this thing going to grow potentially over time, and then what is the total outflow, and then is that like a positive forecast where things are going up, or is that a not so good forecast and things are going down, right? But to start, you need to really understand your budget, in your current cash flow. Cash flow is what I mean, like spending and income, right? So how much are you spending? How much are you making? That's cash flow. Um, Pro tip, a tool that I recently started using is called Truebill. Um, and Truebill is a pretty good budgeting platform if you're kind of tech friendly. Most of you are, if you're watching YouTube videos and using your retirement, you're somewhat tech friendly. So check out Truebill. I just started using that for our personal financial life, and it's just a really good way to like back test your spending, and then it's just go through it. It's an amazing tool and resource. Truebill.com. Your net worth. You should understand. This is obvious. Understand what your net worth is. What assets do you have? What liabilities do you have? And what's the difference? Okay, so you should be crystal clear on that. Your Social Security retirement benefits, you should have all of the options in front of you listed out in PDF form or printed out, because you're going to need that entering in your information to NewRetirement. Pension, same with pension. You need to gather your pension information and details, all of your financial statements that you have. Make sure that you go through and either consolidate it into like a digital electronic folder, or you can print it off and put it into some sort of binder that is stored in a secure like vault. Okay, so you just don't want it laying on your desk at home. If you do have it laying on your desk at home, make sure the door is locked, especially obviously if you have company. A good practice is to make sure you have online access to all your financial accounts. So it's common, especially in today's world when everything's digital, that your username and passwords are like all over the place. You can never remember what your password is, your username. It becomes out of date and it changes. So what I would recommend is making sure that you have all of your information as far as your financial accounts, access to the financial accounts via like online access, all stored in like a secure way. One tool that I use is called Dashlane, and Dashlane, it's pretty similar to like Apple Keychain, but Dashlane is a pretty secure platform. I think very secure platform where you can store all of your passwords and update it from your phone, update it from your desktop, so that whenever you change a password on your computer or change it from your phone, it syncs, so that when you're going to websites and it's logging you in automatically, everything's always up to date. Another pro tip. Personal Capital is a tool that's good for tracking your wealth history over time and performance, mostly for those two use cases, right? So you want to, over time, you're going to want to, at least a lot of people that follow me, they want to have like a track record of performance history and their net worth history. So Personal Capital is a good tool for that. As far as planning goes, NewRetirement's the best retirement planning tool by far. So what you're going to want to do is register for NewRetirement using the link below this video description if you haven't registered for NewRetirement yet. So if you want to use NewRetirement for your planning, they have a 14-day free trial for their premium version, which is absolutely necessary for building a comprehensive plan. And it's super cheap. It's only $120 a year to register for their premium software program. Like, don't even get me started on how cheap that is. I pay like multiples and multiples times more for my technology and stuff that I need to build plans for my private clients. Okay, so register for NewRetirement using the link below this video. So you're going to want to do that. So that pretty much sums up the organizing portion of retirement planning. Yes, there's like a few things that probably aren't included in this specific like training, but what I like to tell people is this DIY retirement planning course gets you like 80% there. Okay, if you're a DIYer, and then you have unique things that are kind of unique to your situation that it's impossible to cover in pre-recorded training videos. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to analyze your situation. One second. You want to analyze your situation. So you want to understand, like, I'm going to summarize this this module, okay, or this set of modules. So what you're going to want to do is you want to see where, if you weren't to change a thing, like based off of what you think you're going to do with your retirement plan, how does that look like today, right? Based on how much you have, based on how you, when you're going to retire, based on how you're invested and the rate of return that you're achieving with that portfolio. And when you're going to take Social Security, how you're going to take that pension, and all of the other little factors that have to do with retirement planning for your situation. Based on like your current facts, what does that look like? And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stress test that situation. You're going to want to say, okay, what if I were to spend a little bit more than I'm planning? What if I were to spend a little bit, retire sooner than I'm planning? What if I were to, what if the market were to crash, 40%, and based on how I'm invested, that means my portfolio might drop 25 to 30%. Will that derail my retirement plan, right? What if inflation remains 4 to 5% over the next 25 years? Will that derail my financial forecast? Okay. So those are some ways to, so after you understand, and so this is new retirement, after you understand your baseline plan, what you're going to want to do is see what that looks like over time. And then what you're going to want to do is tweak some of the variables in your plan by making kind of like a what if scenario within new retirement, and then seeing how changing and stress testing different variables like inflation, lower returns, a market crash, retiring earlier than expected, things like that. How will that impact your forecast of wealth over time? Okay. So that's all about like analyzing, right? Current versus like what if scenarios. Personal capital, new retirement. Um, we have a cool wealth tracker sheet that I built, and it's just like a Google sheet that if you're taking this course and if you're part of the retirement planning club, you can have access to. And then it's important to review your insurance. Policy Genius is like an online firm that I think is pretty solid when it comes to like revisiting, like finding a policy that might have more coverage with less premium, and just making sure you have enough coverage. So Policy Genius is a really good tool for that. Optimizing your retirement plan is the next phase of building like a retirement plan. So based on what you learned in optimizing your, based on what you learned in analyzing your situation, you're going to take what you've learned and try to optimize it, right? So you're going to say, okay, based on what I learned about my current investment strategy, it's too aggressive. I need to make sure I am a little bit more conservative, okay? Or based on my current investment strategy, I feel like I'm too conservative and I need to be more aggressive. Or based on what I learned about my my taxable income when RMDs start kicking in at 72, I am going to be in a very, very high tax bracket. And does it make sense for me to try and build a Roth IRA, Roth conversion strategy, right? So, and those are just a few things that you can learn from your current situation, forecast, and data, and then you can say, okay, what if I change this slightly based off of this looking, high, low, different, bad, and usually the factors that make the most impact to the success or failure of somebody's retirement plan is spending, and then when you plan on spending, right? Or retiring, I should say. Okay, like you could have the best portfolio, you could have the best Roth conversion strategy, you could have the, the best of everything, but if you're overspending by a lot, or even sometimes just by a little bit, depending on your situation, you can, be, potentially derailed and putting your retirement success at risk. So based on what you analyzed in what's going on in your unique situation, try to optimize it, optimize your cash flow, optimize your pension, test different pension strategies, a lump sum versus payments, plugging that into new retirement to see how it changes your tax forecast, it changes your portfolio size over time, test different Social Security retirement strategies, whether that's FRA or postponing until 70, test different spending amounts, or even the distribution order in which accounts you take from first and then last. And you're going to want to really test any factor that is unique to your situation, but also that I talked about today, right? So you're going to want to modify and tweak and try to optimize your spending. You're going to want to maybe change your rate of return, either the optimistic or pessimistic within NewRetirement, to see if you can afford to become more conservative, or maybe you just need to try to just be more growth focused, right? So that's optimizing. And a pro tip or best practice for optimizing and analyzing actually is you do each of the tweaking of the factors separately. And then what you do is you can notice how each factor influences the plan and changes the forecasting and the numbers and the percents of your plan. So because if you just created one master like what if scenario that has Roth conversions and different Social Security retirement dates, or not dates, options, different spending amounts, different investment return forecasts, you in the scenario looks different than like your current situation, you're really not going to know which factor is pulling the most weight in that change, right? It might be the different investment return forecast that's making the greatest change, or it might be the spending that's influencing the change, or it might be whatever other factors are included in that like conglomerate of what ifs. Okay, so you want to have the what ifs, you want to test them separately, and then once you go through every what if that you're testing, combine the most optimal of each, and that's pretty close to like an optimized retirement plan. And within the course I built this entire course. I teach you how to screen for different funds that you can use, how to model Roth IRA conversions, how to model a bear market, and there's a lot of things that I cover that I'm just not going to cover everything today. Okay, and then what I do is I get into building and bringing everything together, figuring out where you're going to where your money is going to be managed, and where you're like what bank or advisory firm are you going to choose to like manage your portfolio. Are you going to totally DIY? Are you going to delegate investment management and help with the planning, or just delegate everything? So once you're organized, and then you analyze your current situation, and then you tweak each of the factors within your plan to optimize it, and you see what is the most optimal, kind of like somebody mentioned, like there's levers. I think it's somebody who reached out to me recently. I'm just like, there's so many levers that you can just like move up and down that can influence the forecast of your wealth so differently. So depending on your situation will depend on which levers you're kind of moving and tweaking. But once you find an optimized, the most optimal way to position the levers, then you can start constructing it, making any changes that you need to change to execute on this more optimal plan, right? So I just went through a lot of information, but this is the format: organize, analyze, optimize, build, and then manage, right? So this is the framework. And again, like if you want to go through all of these training videos, just go to the link below this video, or you can go to secureyourretirementnow.com/RPC, which again, the links to the retirement planning club and to access the course is within the description of this YouTube video, or in this video, wherever you're watching it. All right. Okay. So yeah, the course has a lot of information, as you can see. Just all of these are video trainings. and lessons that you can go through step by step by step. Everything is step by step. Okay. And you can do this all in NewRetirement, which is really cool. Um, it NewRetirement and the name of it, right? Like it's retirement focused. This platform is built for originally it's kind of like built for DIYers, but even like not just people who are going to DIY forever, but at least get started on their own terms. Like for instance, if you recently are thinking about retirement and maybe you have a financial advisor or somebody that you've been using for a long time, kind of like family or a friend, and you're like, you know what, like, are they like, are they missing anything? This is a tool where you can go in on your own terms and really enter in, figure out if you're on track, right? And my retirement planning course can teach you how to do that. So that's a use case for NewRetirement too. It's not just like purely for DIY, like DIYers. Um, People who have advisors can use this to compare whatever their advisor's saying to a plan that they've built on their own terms, and then say, whoa, 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 like what I have entered in here looks totally different. And when I, did for example, the Roth conversion um, calculator, it's telling me a totally different conversion schedule. Like, why? Why is that? Or my probability of success is like higher or lower when I use this platform. Like, why is my wealth forecasted to be much greater in this platform than or lower than what my advisor is telling me? So it's a way to kind of like get a second glance at your situation without having to reach out to another financial advisor and go down that path, right? Which you might want to do eventually, like maybe that's on your mind, but this is a really nice platform that you can use independently in a self-directed way and build your own retirement plan that is actually pretty sophisticated. Like I actually use this with some of my advisory clients, and it's the tool that we use. So this is very like advisor level, very sophisticated, but they don't make it overly complex, which I love. Okay. So if you've made it this far in the video, in this video, like thank you for sticking around. I hope this has been helpful, and all of this that you have access to in your retirement, really truly like this will help you. So if you are curious about like, um, am I on track either as a DIYer, or if you have a financial advisor and maybe you're looking to shift away from them, find a new one, or shift away and just DIY, or you're just really not sure, the um, retirement planning club is a really good spot for you as well. So I use NewRetirement every day, several hours a day. And within the retirement planning club, so I know the platform very, very well. And within the retirement planning club, like I mentioned, there's this classroom area where you can take the course. Um, Eventually, we're going to have more events and webinars within the retirement planning club as well. And then what's kind of cool about my platform is there's a leaderboard, so you can see who is the most involved in the club. And you have some people to potentially like send a chat to if they're like leader of all time and they are always posting about NewRetirement or personal capital or whatever it is. You can actually like reach out to some of the members for like their insight as well, or post on the community board here. Again, you can get started free within the retirement planning club. Like you're more than welcome. And then if you need like my extra help, we can chat about that. But this is a really good kind of like playground for DIY investors who want reassurance, or the pre-retiree who's looking to like bridge the gap between their current situation and like potentially a new one, but they're just not really too sure what that looks like just yet. All right. So that is the Retirement Planning Club. Let me just stop presenting. And so, yeah, that is how you build a DIY retirement plan. You go through the steps that I mentioned, that framework: organize, analyze, build, manage. That's the framework that you need to follow. Um, and then all of the kind of like sub categories that I covered, as far as getting everything organized, analyzing, stress testing, optimizing your situation, trying different what if scenarios, and changing the levers or the variables of your retirement plan to try and create a more optimal um, retirement plan. Okay. So again, go to the link below to join the Retirement Planning Club. In the Retirement Planning Club, we do a monthly giveaway of we'll actually build a plan for you. And so every month I give away 5 free retirement plans. So if you join the Retirement Planning Club, you'll get access to the retirement plan giveaway. All right. So if you just want us to build you a plan within New Retirement, we'll actually like do that for you at no charge. All right, which is pretty cool. So just 5 people every month. All right. So again, I hope this video was helpful. If you found value in this summary of how to DIY, please like this video. That's helpful. Please subscribe to my channel. It keeps me motivated. And, honestly, it helps me help you. All right. And if you need extra help, join the Retirement Planning Club. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one. Take care.